Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Kalpana. Today we would learn about lead bank scheme, which proved to be a catalyst for Indian banking development, and it created history. It was critical initiative in banking history by the government of India, which aimed to foster balanced regional economic growth, which promoted financial inclusion and development in backward areas. So today we are going to discuss about how it originated and its objectives and impact of lead bank scheme. It highlights its enduring legacy in shaping the Indian financial landscape, which we see today. Origin of lead bank scheme in 1960s, which was an important year in banking history, and it was why it was necessary to bring this scheme. Let me give some historical background to it. India faced partition in 1947, then war with China in 1962, and war with Pakistan in 1965. So we were facing economic crunch and financial depression, and it was a global crisis also, but India was facing its own. In 1960s, India faced significant regional disparity in economic development. Particularly backward areas lacked access to adequate financial services, particularly banking services. So the Nariman Committee was constituted by the Government of India to address this issue. So a study group was formed by Reserve Bank of India, which recommended an area approach. Area was focused was rural area of India, which was the major area of India at that time, for commercial banks to promote economic development in these regions. So the Nariman Committee, constituted in 1969, further solidified this approach, leading to the development of lead bank scheme. So key objectives of these lead bank schemes were: first is financial inclusion, means underserved areas where banking services were not available. So this scheme aimed to expand banking services to previously underserved areas, fostering financial inclusion and empowering local communities. Economic development. This scheme focused on promoting economic activities in backward areas by providing access to credit, facilitating investments, and supporting local businesses. How regional growth was promoted through this scheme is interesting to know. So it encouraged financial development in these areas. As I told you initially, they followed an area approach, which is the key point and focal point of lead bank scheme. So the scheme aimed to bridge the gap between developed and backward regions and promoted balanced economic growth. Implementation and role of lead bank is important to understand, and we can understand the present shape of Indian banking services in rural areas and small towns. So lead role designation, as a scheme was named with lead. So India was divided into 671 districts, with each district assigned to a major scheduled bank, primarily from public sector as lead bank, and they were asked to coordinate and collaborate. So lead bank acted as consortium leader, coordinating effort with other banks, cooperatives, and government agencies to achieve developmental goals. So district level focus was the primary focus. So lead bank was expected to promote all-round development of the assigned district. So focusing on the specific areas such as agriculture, industry, and infrastructure. So agricultural and small scale industries had been priority lending sector as identified for balanced regional growth, which was urgent requirement of the rural areas at that time. If we look back around 1969 when it was introduced. Activities of lead banks are interesting to know and important also. Resource assessment was the first activity which was required by the lead banks to do. So lead bank surveyed resources and potential for banking development in its district and identifying areas for growth and investment. Financial inclusion initiatives. So lead bank identified businesses, individual lacking bank accounts, encouraged them to access financial services, credit linkage with marketing. It is very, very important initiative of lead bank scheme. So lead bank facilitated linkage of credit with marketing facilities, particularly for agricultural produce and industrial products, ensuring a smooth flow of goods and revenue. Because if their products are being sold at a good price and getting a good market, then only these banks could have been survived in rural areas. Because without doing that, there is a give and take policy. If I deposit to the bank, then only bank can run based on its liquidity and deposits. So where from it would be coming? It can only come when their industrial products and agricultural products can be sold at a good price, and they have cash flow and they can get deposits. Support for primary lending agencies. So lead bank assisted primary lending agencies in their operations, strengthening the rural credit network, providing support to the farmers and small borrowers. That was a focal point of lead bank scheme to extend the banking services to the farmers, since they were financially illiterate people. So bringing into the banking services network farmers was great initiative. What was the impact of lead bank scheme? That is interesting to know and important as well. Increased financial inclusion, which focuses on all over development of this country. So lead bank scheme significantly expanded access to financial services, particularly in rural and backward areas, promoting economic participation and empowerment. Enhanced credit flow to the priority sector. Scheme facilitated increased credit flow to priority sectors, which are agriculture, small scale industries, boosting economic activities in these crucial areas. It improved coordination and collaboration. The scheme fostered better coordination between banks, cooperatives, government agencies, leading to more efficient resource allocation and development efforts. Evolution challenges of the lead bank scheme. So financial sector reforms, whenever there is a new scheme, challenges are always there. So lead bank scheme has evolved over time, adapting to change in financial sector, including deregulation and rise of new financial institutions. Shifting priorities, the focus of a scheme has shifted from purely banking services to a broader approach encompassing financial inclusion, microfinance, sustainable development. Challenges include ensuring schemes' effectiveness in rapidly changing financial landscape, addressing persistent issue of financial exclusion in certain regions. So, legacy and relevance of lead bank scheme. So, I would like to conclude here. Key enabler, lead bank scheme played a vital role in fostering financial inclusion, promoting economic growth, bridging regional disparity in India, particularly when it comes to rural area and agriculture and pastoral society. They had been ignorant since long about banking services. They do not even used to have the cash in their hand, liquidity in their hand. They used to be engaged into barter system to fulfill their needs. So by uh, sending them that banking institution to the rural areas, people got aware about banking. So that is a key enabler. Enduring legacy, this scheme's principles and impact continue to shape the Indian banking landscape, inspiring innovative solutions and sustainable development initiatives. Continued relevance, because lead bank scheme remains relevant in addressing the challenges of financial exclusion promoting inclusive and sustainable growth in India, requiring ongoing adaptation and refinement. So with this, I would like to end here. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Take care.